Today we're going to talk about why you have to protect your emotional investment as a man, especially if you're wanting to be an alpha man and an alpha presence in a woman's life. I'm Paul from Apex Mindset. Like the video when you're done, subscribe, hit the notification bell. My email list is linked in the description. Basically shadow banned, so I rely on you guys to share and subscribe in order to get this content out so we can help people do better with women and in the sexual marketplace. All right, we'll get into the topic. This was somebody who was writing, and I won't say the source because I want to keep this person anonymous, but they were writing about a breakup situation that they had, or what we could call a breakup situation, but you'll see that it isn't even so much that. And where his emotional investment got him in trouble. All right. Now, what I'm going to say is it's not that you shouldn't ever have an emotional investment. You're not a serial killer, hopefully. Okay. You're not a cluster B personality disorder psychopath, hopefully. All right. The reason for having relationships with women outside of the logistics of procreation and family and all that is that it's good. It's a great experience. It's great. It's a good time. It makes your life better, or it should. Now, a lot of you guys, the way you have interactions with women make your life worse, and that's what we're trying to prevent here. But I advocate for having great experiences in relationships with women, whether they're casual or we call them plate spinning, or whether they're longer term situations. So what we're going to talk about is how to navigate this and do this in a way so you don't get yourself hurt or burned or screwed over or any of those terrible things, right? And one thing that guys do to really screw themselves up is they start leading with an emotional investment with a woman in the dating phase or early in a relationship, and she hasn't invested in the guy as much as he's invested in her. As soon as you do that, you're dead. Okay? If your investment is more than hers, you're screwed. The reason why is just from the simple standpoint of hypergamy. All right. Well, we know that she wants her best genetic option. What that means is she wants to be with somebody who's better than she is. She wants to date upward. She wants to mate upward. If you come at her with an emotional investment prior to her having an emotional investment, what ends up happening is it sends the signals to her primitive brain that she is better than you. And so if she's dating you casually and dating other men casually, she's going to go with the guy who is not as invested as she is. The guys that are more invested than she is are the ones she's going to be unattracted to. And you'll see a number of mistakes here that happen. I'm illustrating this too, definitely not to bash this guy at all. He knows he's screwed up and it's fine and he's going to get better for it. All right. But this guy, I'm sure, knew that these were mistakes when he was making them prior to whatever. If he was like on a forum somewhere and someone else said, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, he would have probably been somebody who would have read that and known, okay, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Okay. Yet he did these things anyway because of his emotional attachment and investment into this chick. Most of you guys, probably all of you guys listening, have done this too. You've done it before. You find yourself doing things with women that you like and that you're really attracted to and that you want some kind of future with. You find yourself doing things that you know you shouldn't do. Doing things that are beta behaviors. Doing things and kicking yourself afterwards. Like, why did I do that, right? And I screwed this up. Well, why does that happen? The reason why is because you're not outcome independent. I talk about being outcome independent all the time. Outcome independent is being able to enjoy, when it comes to women, outcome independent is being able to enjoy her, enjoy the experiences you're having with her, and then drop her off and move on with your life until the next experience. not having any attachment to the future with her or the potential outcomes, not having any attachments to your emotions towards her. You can allow yourself to like her and to have good feelings for her, but you're not attached to those emotions. Why? Well, the reason why is because they can end tomorrow. All right. And if you're attached to those things, that's what we call an unhealthy attachment. In more extreme sense, we call it a one-itis, where she's the one over everybody else, all right, at least in your mind. And that leads to an unhealthy relationship dynamic. You can't lead a relationship as an alpha man if you have an unhealthy attachment to the woman that you're dealing with. And if she has sexual options as well, she will sense that and sense your unhealthy attachment, and she will kick you to the curb, which is exactly what happened to this guy. So let's go over some of the things that we're talking about here, right? So I won't read the whole thing that he wrote, but in the beginning, but basically he's like, a woman can be completely into you today, but as soon as you give your power away to the point where she feels like she has more power than you, she will just want to be your friend tomorrow. So I didn't know what he meant. I asked for clarification. What do you mean by give your power away? So what he meant really is what I'm talking about. He was more invested in her, had more of an attraction and an emotional investment to her than she did with him. He acted on, and because of that, it throws the sexual polarity off. Sexual polarity is, as a man, you're focused on your purpose and you enjoy women. That's what you do. She is more attached and wanting more of your time and energy and effort. As she fights for more of your time, energy, and effort, and she wants and she starts putting that emotional investment into you, then if she's a good candidate and a good match for you, you allow yourself to develop that emotional attachment back and return to her. That's how this works. You do it the other way around, it throws the polarity off, and now she starts pulling away, becoming unattracted, unaroused by you, and then you start doing weird shit to try to compensate for that. Things you know that you shouldn't do. And so in his clarification, here's some of the things he had listed. So he said she said she was also dating another guy. We had only been dating for 1.5 months and wasn't sure if she wanted to pick him or me. She told me he was shorter than her. I'm taller than her. I kept bashing his height because I was being insecure. So I tried to put him down for something that was out of his control. He's listing his mistakes, by the way. So he knows he screwed up here. So again, I'm not bashing this dude. I mean, probably all you guys listening have done worse things than the things he's going to list. In fact, I don't actually know what he has listed here. I didn't read it beforehand, so I'm going to spontaneously address it in this video. So that sounds like it would be a lot of fun for us to watch me do that in this video here. All right, so let's look at this. When a girl is dating you casually and dating someone else, when she says, oh, I'm seeing somebody else and I'm not sure who to pick, all right, that's a shit test. All right, that's a test to see who's the better man. All right, who is the better sexual option? She's not sure, so she's going to tell you about that, and she's going to see what your reaction is, and she's probably going to tell the other guy that too and see what his reaction is. And whoever has the most alpha reaction wins. So the way to react to that is to say, you know what? That's interesting. Well, you should pick him. That's what I would tell her. I would tell her to pick the other guy. I'd say, I think that you should go pick him. What do you mean? Yeah, no, really. If you're not sure that I'm the better option for you, there's other women that are sure that I'm the best option for them. So I'm going to go see those other women, and I hope you go pick that other guy. All right? If you're not sure, then I want you to go with him. And I'll go with women who are more certain. That's your answer. Now, if she backpedals, if she goes, oh, okay, fine, goes for the other guy, bye. All right? See you later. Okay, you win. How do you win? Because you're kicking a girl out of your life that does not have maximum burning desire for you. All right? It doesn't matter if you like her. You have to understand this, guys. Your emotional investment into her doesn't matter in the equation whether or not that relationship's going to work or not. Her emotional investment into you is what makes the difference. Because think about it. If she's not emotionally invested in you and doesn't really care and isn't sure if you're the best option for her after a month and a half, after I'm sure some sexual experiences and a lot of things as well, but okay, it can't work then. Even if she like reluctantly picks you or whatever, it's not going to work. You see what I mean? Even if you love her, you're not going to love her and love bomb her into, her weak emotional and that's going to make the relationship work if her emotional investment is weak. It doesn't matter how much you love her. Okay? That never plays into the equation. What matters is how much she loves you. Can you love her? Sure, you're allowed to. Absolutely. I'm saying protect yourself from doing that until, she's maximally invested in you, because her investment is what's going to make the difference between that relationship working or not working. So focus less on your love or your care for that woman and focus more on, well, does she see you as her best? Is she burning desire, maximally desiring you over anybody else in the sexual marketplace? Is she pair bonding and wanting to be more bonded to you? That's the questions you should be asking. Your love for her is incidental, all right, in this equation. All right. So, your love for her would allow you to pick her or whatever, but that doesn't matter. You could pick her all day, but if she's not picking you, there's no relationship. If she reluctantly, unenthusiastically picks you, there's no relationship that's going to be fun or good. So that's what you tell her. All right. A girl ever says that and then she'll say, listen, if you're confused, then go with the other guy. Don't pick me. There are other women out there that are not confused, that are a lot more certain. I'll put my energy into them. Right now, I like you and I like where we're going, but I'm not going to continue to invest in you if you're uncertain. So go ahead, go away. And if you decide something different, hit me up. But if you're confused, then I think you should call me back after a month and a half. I think you should call me back when you're a little less confused. Or if you want to just have a casual sex relationship and that's cool, and then you can just leave and that's cool. We'll just be friends that have sex, then that's fine. Right. So you remove your investment, you remove any openness towards a commitment. And what that's going to do is cause her to just either go for the other guy, which meant she wouldn't have picked you in the first place if that's the choice. That's the least likely thing that happens, though. The most likely scenario is you're doing the takeaway, and so fear of potentially missing out on an apex alpha. You also demonstrated yourself to be the alpha in this situation. Because if the other guy placates and goes, "Oh well, that's okay," and I really like you and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully you'll see that I'm the better man, or if he pretends okay, whatever, tries to act overconfident, ignore it, and tries to be like a game expert, but then sits there and placates to her and sits there and tries to win her over or deprecate the other guy. That's that kind of behavior, basically she'll see you as more alpha if you are willing to walk away from her and because you're less emotionally invested. You see how that works? And so you win, all right, in that case. Now, is it worth winning? I don't know. Because from where I'm standing, if a girl tells me that, peace, see you later. Well, that's cool. You're not sure. Well, hey, you come over when you want some sex or you want to hang out and have fun. Or if you want something a little bit more, that's cool. But then you better be sure when you bring that up to me. Otherwise, I'll see you later. I'm going to focus on other women. Oh shit, what? Okay, so that's your answer. If you had answered that right from the beginning, this guy would have been in much better shape. She probably would have picked him. I don't know if she's worth it. She probably isn't worth it, because someone who says that, I don't know that she's actually worth it, but she probably would have picked him. At the very least, she would have gotten that win. But yeah, instead he kept bashing the other guy. Well, when you're bashing the other guy, it becomes real obvious that you made that guy a threat. You made that guy an issue, you see? And so she will see that other guy as higher value because she can see right through what you're doing, depending on how you're bashing him or whatever. But in this circumstance, that would be the case. All right, so not to get too caught up in that, this is going to be too long a video anyway. Number two, I started to chase her instead of pursue her. We talked on the phone 3 days in a row. I initiated the first day, she initiated the second day. Instead of waiting for some time to go by, a few days, I pushed to talk on the phone for a third date. Okay, so in the beginning, the phone particularly is for setting dates. I'm going to do another video on text banter, and because we are in a COVID environment and because we're in a technological age, some of the old pickup ideas, of being real brief over text communication or phone or even video chat communication, some of the ideas of being super brief about that are a little outdated. So there is some permission now for some banter if done correctly. There has to be. You can build, it's hard, it's you don't really build attraction or arousal over text or phone, but you can build her fantasies that way, though. Put it that way. That's a whole nother video. Point is though, once you're in her interaction, so he had gone out with her, all right. He started to chase her and talk with her more on the phone and having these phone conversations with her. Those need to be dates. You can banter with her a little bit, check in 5 minutes or whatever, 5-minute conversation or a little back and forth on the text, joke around, exchange a few memes or something. But then it's like, hey, when am I seeing you again? Or what are you up to this week, right? And you set that date up, and then you get focused on you and you get less focused on her until the date. So that's a basic rule there that we broke, right? And he probably already knew that rule, but he was invested in this girl. He really liked her. And so what is he doing? Screwing it up, right? That's what he's doing. All right. Okay. I started to placate to her instead of what I wanted to do. I would talk on the phone with her late at night for 2 to 3 hours past my bedtime when I wanted to go to bed earlier. Dude, stop, right? Like when you are wasting your energy on phone conversations and text banter where sex is absolutely not happening in that circumstance, there is a limited amount of connection you can have. What you are doing is you're placing yourself in the beta role for her. All right. You are the person who is showering her with attention so she can go bang another guy. So she can go have the courage to go out and meet or bang the alpha guy that makes her a little bit nervous. She gets the comfort and the communication from you. Your 2 to 3 hour phone conversations, that's what you're doing. You're not advancing yourself or building a connection as a sexual partner with that. You're building a connection as a beta male friend. All right. You're building the wrong connection. Now, hey, you're having lots of crazy sex with someone and you're getting a commitment even. And then let's say you go away for business for 3 months and now it's a long distance thing for a couple months. Well, that's a little different now, isn't it? But in the beginning of dating and courting, when she's dating other people, that's not what you're doing. All right. We'll move on to 4. I told her I had a list of what I was looking for in a girl. It had 18 things on it. I told her she was everything on the list. I made her feel like she was a perfect unicorn for me. Why would you do that? Right? That's a terrible idea. Look, I have an activity I do with some of my guys, single guys or single girls, when they're looking for a partner, and it involves listing traits and stuff. And there's a whole thing to activity. I won't cover it here in consultation sessions. It's a great activity, but you never tell the other person about that. It's not in the beginning. You end up in a commitment with them later and they're sexually exclusive with you or whatever, and you're really far along, mentioning that you had done something like that. That's fine. But you wouldn't do that why did he do that? I'll tell you why he did that. He did that because he was trying to earn her love and attention and desire by telling her how great she is, telling her how perfect she is for him. This is like, you're going to see a theme in this behavior with dudes who placate to women. When I say placate and placing her above you, that's what I mean. That simple act of telling her that stuff is you trying to say, oh, please love me because you're so amazing, because I have 18 traits and you met every trait. Come on, right? I mean, you're trying to basically let her know how special she is, and that's why she should pick you and desire you. That's not how it works, all right? And so all that does is remove the mystery and turn you into kind of a simper little kind of a bitch for her, right? And so that's not what we want. And so next thing, all right, I told her she was the only girl I have ever gone out with that I matched on Tinder. This is true, and I didn't want to lie about anything. I was trying to be completely open, vulnerable, and honest with her. Why are you being vulnerable? Right? Wrong paradigm, bro. Being vulnerable to her does not make her attracted to you. Okay? That's not how this works. All right? Open and honest? Yeah, that's fine. Hey, you know what? I usually don't do dating apps. I decided to open up Tinder. You're my first date. You're my Tinder virgin. Nice job. I usually meet girls someplace. I meet them at bars or hanging out or wherever, or social circles. But yeah, it's my first Tinder date. That's fine. That's cool. But see how I did that? I'm not doing it in a way that's like a beta stuff, right? And also, there's an abundance. I'm illustrating that I have an abundance of options with women because I don't get on dating apps very often. If you presented it like that, that's cool. But if you present it like you're trying to let her know that you're not out there trying to get girls, no, that's not how women's brains work. You're projecting how your brain works on a girl. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, we want a girl who's not out hoeing around and on several dating apps and hooking up with dudes left and right. That's what we want, because a girl who does that's unattractive to us. There's primal reasons for that. Okay, a girl who's just hoeing around is not somebody we want in our life long term. All right, we don't care if it's casual, but long term prospect is a turnoff for us. For women, the fact that you're sexually marketable and that women want to sleep with you, that makes you higher value. So women think differently. If she thinks you have options with women and that you're out dating women, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. So I think your point in telling her that was to let her know that you're really not out there being a man whore, which is the wrong message or answer. All right. If you just casually mentioned, or if you let her know, like she was like, "Oh, how many girls have you met on Tinder?" If you're like, you laughed it off and said, "Yeah, you're the first one. You're gonna break my Tinder virginity or something, or whatever you want to call it." No, and just say, I don't usually do dating apps. I just decided to try it out. They've got a pandemic. You can't go out anywhere. I usually meet women when I'm out. So I just decided to do it, and you're my first one. That's cool. Go ahead and be honest, but you're doing it in a way, though, that's not trying to signal to her that you're the good guy. Okay? She doesn't want to sleep with a good guy. All right? She doesn't want to pick the good guy for anything, for that matter, for the most part, other than give me your money. All right. So 6, he says, I stopped leading and taking charge. Why would you do that? I started to ask her what she wanted to do on her next date, and also ask her if she wanted to talk on the phone every day. Don't stop talking. Don't ever talk on the phone guy, if you listen to this, don't ever talk on the phone every day with a chick like that ever again. All right. I think you hopefully learned your lesson with having this one kick you to the curb. All right. His closing statement in a nutshell: I was afraid to lose her. I was so afraid that my insecurities of this showed, and I couldn't do anything right, even when I knew what to do. All right, that's important. That's why I wanted to read that. Though I didn't know that I wanted to read that, actually, because I hadn't read this yet. But this is what I was saying, so let me read that. All right, so he was afraid of losing her. I was so afraid that my insecurities of this showed, and I couldn't do anything right, even when I knew what to do. Okay, so he knew what to do, and this is why I'm doing this video. You guys study all this stuff, all right? Cool. You do it. You read cool books on it. You listen to my videos. That's part of the process. That's good. You have to apply it, all right? You know what to do, but when you become emotional and emotionally invested and not alpha about these things, then you don't do the things you're supposed to do. And you know it. You know it. After you do it, you go, why did I do that? And then you do another stupid thing. And you just keep doing stupid things until you find yourself single and kicked to the curb, picking another guy who's shorter than you. All right? whatever it may be. All right. And that guy could be the guy that she picked over him could be a total D-bag for all we know. But she doesn't know that. All she knows is what her chimpanzee brain tells her, which is this guy is more dominant than this guy because of his behavior. And so those of you who are the looks maxers and the doom and gloom, only one thing matters, guys. Game matters. I see it all the time. Picking a guy that's shorter than her versus a guy that's taller than her, which is height is a major marker, right, for attraction. And most girls will not pick a shorter guy. And she picks that guy, why? Because of game, because of behavior, because of alpha behavior. And this guy could be a total douchebag who just doesn't care and doesn't know enough about women to care and shows and appears as a better option because of this other behavior that the guy who wrote this was doing. You see how that works? And so that is why he knew what to do, guys, but he didn't do it. He wouldn't have done these mistakes if he didn't have this unhealthy attachment. They're not even in a relationship. He's talking about getting dumped, but guess what, guy? You're not even in a relationship with her. Because if she's seeing other dudes and all that, you're in a casual situation with her. Maybe we can call it a relationship, but you're not in a committed relationship with her where you should be even grieving a loss. This should not be, all right, if you have abundance with women, outcome independence, and you don't have unhealthy emotional attachments to women, then a casual girl that you're seeing and dating casually that dumps you or leaves, picks a different guy over you, you just don't care about it all that much. You might have, oh, that kind of sucks, whatever, but you move, you're over it very quickly. And you're also dating other women, or at least you have other women as options. And that's why this one doesn't matter. Maybe she's your best option out of the options you have, but you also don't care about that because you know that tomorrow that could change. You can meet there's women everywhere, and you meet better options all the time. This is why abundance is important. This is why all the guys in this space say spin plates, spin plates. It's not just like because you have a sexual dysfunction and you need to get laid every second, all right? It's having an abundance so you don't have unhealthy attachments to women that don't deserve your attachment. This woman did not deserve this guy's effort or his attachment to her. She didn't deserve it. There's nothing about her that is deserving of that effort and attachment. I don't care how cool she is. I don't care how hot she is. I don't care how good of a girl she is. The reason why is because she didn't have that attachment to him. That's the reason. One of the biggest thing you guys have, all right, your biggest asset, in fact, in some cases, your only asset that you can give away, all right, is your commitment and your effort and energy, and particularly your emotional investment, okay? So your commitment, and when I say commitment, that's an emotional investment. So if you're emotionally invested in this girl, you got one-itis for her or whatever, even if you have a couple other girls as options, you don't care about those other girls. You're really tunnel vision on this one. You've effectively committed yourself to this one girl who's not worthy of the commitment. Why is she not worthy? Because she's not demonstrated that she wants your commitment. Okay. So that's why I say it a lot. I talk about outcome independence a lot. It's especially important in these begin stages of dating somebody. Dating someone for a couple months ain't crap. It's nothing. Not unless she's pouring out her love to you and saying, I love you. I want you in a commitment. I want to be exclusive with you. I don't want to be with any other guys. Okay, then it matters. But until that point, until she's at a point where she is trying to earn and get your commitment, your emotional investment, you don't give her commitment, your commitment or your emotional investment. That is your most important asset. Your biggest asset as a man is your commitment and your emotional investment. And they're both almost the same again, once again, because you could say, oh, I'm not in a commitment with her or whatever. I can see other people. She can see other people. But if you're completely emotionally invested in her, one-itising, tunnel visioned, well, then that's all you care about is her. So you might as well be in a commitment. And of course, now you're in a commitment with somebody who isn't committed to you. That's a real problem when it comes to sexual polarity, and you can't be her alpha male if you're sitting in that spot. Okay, you just can't be. So she wants a guy as the best genetic option. She wants an alpha male. She wants her apex alpha. She hopes that you're the guy that she can be one and done with. She falls in love with, and she starts building with you. She wants your commitment. She wants your investment. She's not interested in any other dudes. That's every girl's dream for the most part, unless they've completely hoed away their pair bonding abilities. That is what girls want. Okay. And then they end up compromising for other things. All right. So you can't be that guy if you have emotionally invested into her first. If you've given away your emotional investment before she's earned it, and she earns it through her demonstration of genuine desire. All right. Telling you she's not sure about you and another dude is not demonstrating genuine desire. Okay. So she has to demonstrate. You should not be giving away 3 hours of your time for a phone conversation to some girl who has not demonstrated genuine desire to want to be with you in exclusion of everyone else. You shouldn't even be on that phone call in the first place. That phone call should be like, why are we talking so long? Why don't you come over? Right? That's how that should go. And so a lot of you guys might know all this stuff or whatever, but you don't apply it. Like most of you, because as soon as you get the feelings, man, all this stuff goes out the window. You start making the same mistakes this guy makes. So before you get in my comments section here in the video and talk crap about, oh yeah, don't do that, don't do this guy's dumb. He's not dumb. He's the same as every one of you. Because as soon as you get that emotional investment, you guys start doing stuff like this. Well, most of you do, okay? So I'm trying to advise against that. You want to make sure you're not making these kinds of mistakes. You already know what to do, okay? Most of you, all right? Some of you are still learning, but a lot of you know what to do. But it's more than just knowing what to do. It's knowing how to apply it, and how to apply it is emotional self-control and controlling who you give away that emotional investment to. Saying to yourself, I really like this chick. She's pretty awesome, but I'm going to wait and see what happens, right? And then focusing your energy elsewhere. Not ruminating and thinking about how great she is and attaching yourself to her when she hasn't demonstrated that she wants your attachment yet. That's a huge mistake. So, in closing, protect your emotional investment. If you don't protect your emotional investment, and have emotional self-control and be outcome independent in those begin stages especially, she won't see you as her alpha option. You'll make a lot of mistakes that you shouldn't make. And in the end, she's probably going to pick the shorter guy. Thanks again for tuning in.